Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
My good friend Caleb sent me a note yesterday. Said, Steve, check out this criminal genius. I love stories like this, but they don't happen as often as we might like for entertainment purposes. But of course, when crimes are committed, we don't like to see that. But they caught the guy. So we can all get a good laugh out of it now. This story is from Nexstar MediaWire and WFLA, but it happened in Texas, where a Texas man drove a BMW loaner to rob a bank, then tried to use stolen cash to buy a BMW. And now he was trying to buy a BMW from the dealership where he got the loaner from. So a Texas man used a loaner car from a BMW dealership to rob a bank and then tried to buy a BMW with the stolen money. He's been sentenced to 20 years in federal prison. And federal prison because bank robberies are federal in nature. There you go. According to court documents, the man's 50 years old. He was in the process of finalizing the purchase of a BMW. Now, this was back in the summer of 2019, oh, so long ago. And he went into the bank, walked up to a teller, and put a bag from a fast food restaurant on the counter along with a note. Now, I can't read the note verbatim because it contains adult language. See, the note should be funny, okay? Remember Woody Allen? I've got a gun, a gub. I think it says gub. The note read, "This is a effing robbery. Play with me and die. I want $10,000 in 50s and hundreds. Now you got 1 minute or I will end you." I'm changing the verb there. After showing the teller the note, he pulled out what looked like an authentic weapon and said, "I ain't playing around. I only want hundreds and 50s. I don't want none of those darn 20s. Heaven forbid 5s or 10s. Singles? Bad things will happen. Just 50s and hundreds." Authorities said that 15 minutes after the robbery, he went back to the dealership in the loaned vehicle and, according to employees, began waving around cash. He entered the dealership's finance office and attempted to finalize the purchase of the BMW by giving the dealership $3,000 cash as a down payment. So it turns out that he actually had more than that on him, but he probably needed some of that for walking around money, as they say, or maybe even just gas. But he said, "Hey, look, I got $3,000 in cash. Can we make this happen today?" What's it going to take to get you into this car today? Well, can I borrow a loaner for a few minutes? I gotta run to the bank and run back. The employee realized that the vehicle used in the bank robbery matched the vehicle the dealership had lent the man, and the employee alerted law enforcement. And so it turns out that while the man was in the dealership's finance office, someone called an employee and said, "Hey, did you know there's a bank robbery just down the street?" "No, I hadn't heard that." "Yeah, some guy came in, put a fast food bag on the counter, and took off in a BMW." "Wait, you guys sell BMWs, don't you?" "Yeah, we do." "What color was it?" "What make?" What model?" So when the man was arrested, he had more than $5,000 on him, and the serial numbers matched those stolen from the bank. So the bank actually had a list of some serial numbers that they could match up with the money that they handed this guy. Police also found a painted pellet gun resembling a real one. So apparently he got something and played around with it and made it look real. But this, again, like I said, criminal genius. We need to have an award or something for things like this. The guy was at the BMW dealership trying to work out a deal on a BMW and basically said to them, "I need to borrow a car briefly, just briefly. I'll bring it right back." Now, there are people in my audience who are aficionados of the English language. And I know this because they often point out to me when I say things that are not perfectly the King's English. And I understand that sometimes I'll purposely say things like ain't, that ain't going to happen, and things like that. I'm often trying to be amusing on some level. But I would like to point out one that I became acutely aware of because of a book I wrote, where I talk about how Chrysler built a fleet of turbine-powered cars, and that would be that car right there. They built 55 of those and lent 46 or 48 of them to the public over a period of 2 years. You notice I say they lent them to the public. I didn't say they loaned them to the public. Because if you check the real old school hardcore dictionaries, they will tell you that loan is a noun, lend is a verb. So if you needed a loan, I could lend you money. Past tense, lent. And now it is true that our language evolves. And I'm not saying this is wrong, but it says here he went back to the dealership in the loaned vehicle. And again, preferable would be in the lent vehicle. I, however, find both of those odd. I would have said in the vehicle he had borrowed or that they had lent him, because it doesn't sound quite right as loaned vehicle or lent vehicle, I don't think. But that's one of those words that I think if you go back about 50 years, if you find older dictionaries, and by the way, I've got older dictionaries. For some odd reason, I've got a collection of dictionaries. I've got probably over 100 dictionaries. If you look in the older dictionaries, it'll actually make that distinction and say lend is a verb, loan is a noun. And they obviously are related to the exact same thing. It's a question of what you're doing. But I digress. What we like about this story, for those of you who are curious, is the man was at a BMW dealership, wanted to buy a BMW, needed more money than he had, and thought, oh, lend me your BMW. I'm going to go to the bank and get some money. And when I come back, I'll buy a car, bring back some cash. So on some level, that would actually sound like it could be a legitimate transaction. You go to the bank and you get out some money. Now, of course, you can buy a car without transacting cash. You can cut a check, get a cashier's check, money order, something. You can get some other thing, wire transfer, okay? But the notion that somebody needs to go to the bank to get cash doesn't sound that outlandish. But when they come back and they got a big wad of cash, and they look a little bit nervous, and somebody calls the dealership and says, hey, a bank just down the street from you guys got robbed by a guy in a BMW that kind of looks like the one that you lend it to people who are in there getting work done on their cars. Is there any possible connection there? Is there? And somebody goes, yeah. It turns out the guy's sitting in the room with the finance manager. And by the way, there's probably one other level of complexity to the story, because the finance manager is in the room with the guy who's got $3,000 in cash, and he's thinking to himself, I don't care where the money came from. Can we still sell the guy a car? But I'm sure when law enforcement showed up, they came and they took the money. I'm sure they did. And it probably bummed out a bunch of people who said, oh, I almost had a sale. I almost had a sale. Oh, well, move on to the next person. So Caleb, thanks for sending that. Texas man drove BMW loaner to rob bank, then tried to use stolen cash to buy BMW. Now, you might say, but Steve, what about the word loaner? Loaner. Well, that's a word that's evolved, obviously, because we have the idea of a loaner vehicle and a few others, and it's kind of like evolved on its own. I'm not sure if there's a rule on how that word derivation happens. So Texas man drove BMW loaner to rob bank, then tried to use the stolen cash to buy a BMW from the people who lent him that car. WFLA and Nexstar MediaWire published that. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. Never confuse a single defeat with a final defeat.